What's up, comic book fans? Welcome back to the M.I.B. Master Toy Museum. I'll be your curator today. Guys, got another cool comic book for you, all the way from 1975. We bring you the Mystery Comics Digest, Boris Karloff, Tales of Mystery. And it's a gold key. These were pint-sized versions of the larger regular size Boris Karloff Tales of Mystery. And what they did was they condensed the book and they put a ton of stories from the regular comic books into this small digest form. And these were books that were introduced to me back in the 1970s as a kid by my father. And he would bring these home on a Saturday night, and he'd pull these out of his pocket and hand them to my sisters and I, my brothers and sisters. And we all sat around and read these awesome tales of horror and mystery. And this was one of my earlier connections to comic books, was through these mystery comic digests. And I just remember being blown away by the artwork, the stories, and really getting into the stories. I mean, they were scary. And being a kid, with the imagination that I had, it didn't take much to scare me. So reading some of these stories of how these people would get themselves into these horrific situations was scary enough. But let's take a look at it. As you can see, we'll open this book. Let's get you a year real quick. Oh, look at a lot of the, get that out the way here. There was one story in here particular. Oh, here's a year. There's the year, 1975. As you can see, it's published by a lot of these different, it had a lot of the different comic books in it from different years. There was one where there was a story in here where there was a guy who was in love with this girl, and this town's town bell would ring. And every time it rung, that meant somebody was going to die. And I guess it was somebody's time to die. And he prevented it by getting between the bell, stopping it from bonging or gonging or whatever, and saved her life. And I just thought that was a really scary and cool story. Oh, here it is. The death bell. What page is that on? Let's lay this down a little bit and get... You see, book is in fantastic condition. This is another Anthony's Comics purchase that I made. That's 70 and 75. But as you can see, it's got just the artwork here on these books are just fantastic. And this is what I do, guys. I got some quiet time to myself, a good cup of coffee, sit back and relax, and I would get a ton of these books, and I read them, and just, you can just go into a whole nother world. A fantastic escape, if you will. And that's what I do. And the cool part now is that having a museum, owning a museum with all these beautiful comic books and action figures, it's just, I'm like a kid in a candy store. literally a kid in a candy store, just having fun and really just enjoying all these beautiful items that we have here at our museum. And the absolute coolest part is being able to share them with you guys. Guys, we have another shout out we would like to do. The Hungry Bookworm. She has a fantastic channel where she reviews and talks about all these amazing books. It's from science fiction to nonfiction, you name it. The Hungry Bookworm. Check her channel out. She is absolutely fantastic. I am a huge fan of her channel, and we just enjoy. I mean, I just really enjoy watching all of her videos. And this is just another reason why I've gotten in so much back into comic books, is because of channels like hers, and just being able to enjoy the art of reading. And it's really becoming a lost art form of just reading. You know, everything now is so digital, and the technology now. Being able to crack open a good comic book or just a good book is becoming a thing of the past, and it's really sad. That's it. Anytime you can pause your video if you want to read some of this. I try to get you a lot of the information here. And like I said, these stories are just fantastic, and I find myself getting just pulled in to these worlds when I crack open one of these comic books and start to read. I can very seldom it's very hard for me to put these books down. So once I start reading, that's why I have to really have some alone time when I'm reading this, because I could literally go through a whole book, story after story. Just fantastic. Guys, what do you think of our Mystery Comics Digest Boris Karloff from 1975? Do you remember these books? Do you remember having these books? And all our comic book aficionados and savants out there, I'm sure you guys remember these books. This one particular book had a lot of the wording was a lot bigger. Some of these books were a little smaller and you couldn't read them. Let's go to our our story here. I want to see. Let's see if we can go to. Here it is. The Death Bill. And I thought this was one of the coolest stories as a kid growing up. And so in purchasing these books, I made it an absolute must to seek out the books that really were stuck in my mental conscious here, as growing up, that I remembered reading. I wanted to make sure I got every single book that I had as a child. And I think I accomplished that. There's a few out there that I'm not sure about, but for the most part, the ones that really stuck out in my mind, even to this day, I was able to purchase. So this girl got hurt. Now she's close to death. I see the death bell. If it rings, she will die. See? So he's going to try to stop the bell from ringing. And I just remember this particular story sticking out in my mind as a child. And that's true love, guys. And she recovered. This fantastic. All of these stories. Scavengers. These older, they take you all the way back. These pirate days, time periods. Fantastic, guys. It's just, I could just read this all day, and I'll probably even put a pot of coffee on and crack this open and really get in depth of reading more of these stories. We'll be adding more, guys, more comic books, horror comics to our. I'm connected with the horror comic book magazines, so you'll see a lot of those, the Eries, the Creepies, the Vampirellas, the Mystery Comic Digest, the Boris Karloffs, because those are the ones that I was connected to as a kid. But we will be bringing you more of the superhero ones as well. But I see a lot of those on different channels, so I want to bring you something different that you probably haven't seen, and kind of reintroduce or introduce these stories and these books to you. Some people are saying, I've heard from some of our subscribers that this is the first time they're seeing a lot of these books. You know, they just didn't know these books existed, and so that makes us feel good, because we're really bridging a gap, if you will, with a lot of our subscribers and our viewership. So, but we definitely have a ton more coming your way, guys. You know the routine. God bless. And keep collecting.